My husband's first love came back to the country, and he pulled out a check as some sort of compensation. My mother-in-law mocked me, saying I was a broken egg-laying hen and that I should just get lost. My sister-in-law and my husband's friends laughed, hinting my good days were over. I chuckled and called my super-rich brother. Hey, the marriage game isn't fun anymore. I think I'll just go back and take over the family business. At the New Year's party, I descended the stairs in a burgundy evening dress, catching everyone's attention. For someone like me who loves being in the spotlight, those eyes on me were the best compliments. I tossed my hair and stepped down the last stair. Your sister-in-law looks pretty good, right? It was my sister-in-law chatting with her fake friends about me. She teased, oh, she's just putting on a brave face. Ever since Gloria came back, she must have been worried sick. Gloria, my husband's first love. She actually came back. I grabbed a glass of champagne, but before I could sip, my mother-in-law's voice pierced through. She's nothing but a childless woman. It's been 3 years and no kids. Now that Gloria's back, she'll finally be out the door. Again with the Gloria talk. I guess she wasn't just my husband's first love but the whole family's too. Then my husband showed up. I walked over with my champagne, hooking my arm around his. Jason, the man I loved throughout my youth, still as handsome as ever. But deep down, I felt like everything was about to end. I smiled, raising my glass towards Jason. Hey, let's have a drink? He looked down at me with the same indifferent eyes he always had. I chuckled, withdrew my hand, and downed the champagne. Shaking the empty glass at him, I walked away. Everyone watched me like I was about to put on a show. I guess they thought since my husband's first love was back, I'd have to bow out as Mrs. Alden. At that moment, the years of emotion I held seemed pretty ridiculous. I went upstairs to my room. As I was taking off my earrings, Jason came in. He handed me a check. Becky, here's $2 million for you. Consider it compensation. Looking at Jason through the mirror, I asked, so, you're divorcing me? He confessed, Gloria's been through a lot these years. I can't just leave her like that. I interrupted, so you're divorcing me for Gloria? Jason paused and said, yes. I set my earrings down, stood up, and said, all right. Jason seemed surprised by my easy agreement, but there was no point. If he didn't love me, why hold on? 8 years and I've tried my best, no regrets. Heading out with my phone, he called after me, Becky, the check. I turned back, giving a cold laugh, keep it for yourself. Leaving the room, I called my brother, hey, the marriage game isn't fun. I'm heading back to take over the family business. My marriage to Jason was actually a bet with my brother. Initially, no one in my family approved because they all knew Jason wasn't into me, but my obsession with him couldn't be stopped. So, my brother said he'd give me 3 years. If I could make Jason wholeheartedly love me, they'd accept our marriage. Otherwise, it's a divorce. 3 years passed, and not only did Jason not fall for me, but he's leaving me for his first love. Game over, I lost. Fine, then. Let's divorce. I'll go back to my life, and Jason can do whatever he wants. Packing my stuff, I left decisively. Seeing my suitcase, everyone knew. Looks like no one can replace Gloria in Jason's heart. Of course, Gloria's so gentle, men love that. TSK didn't expect Becky's good life to end so soon. Living like a rich lady for 3 years, what's next after leaving her wealthy husband? To these folks, Jason might seem like a wealthy guy. To me, he was a broke guy. Outside, I didn't wait long before my brother arrived. Let's go, leave the rest behind. He gently patted my back. Sis, don't be sad. I smiled lightly. I'm not sad. Really, I'm not. I gave it my all. No success, but no regrets. Life's colorful. I won't let an unreliable love trip me up forever. Back home, Mom and Dad had been waiting eagerly. Mom, almost in tears, held my hand. What did you see in him? You've suffered so much. Dad, teary-eyed, exclaimed, she's back now, no tears. Leaving him is a blessing for us. Isn't this a bit exaggerated? The Alden family has assets worth billions, though we're not top tier in DC. But Jason never kept money from me. He agreed to marry me back then only because Gloria left, and he felt hopeless, like any marriage would do. Probably feeling guilty, he was generous financially. My brother was even kidnapped as a kid, so they were extra protective of me. Mom and Dad always taught me to keep wealth under wraps to avoid unnecessary trouble. Maybe Jason got the impression that I'm really broke and he's trying to compensate by showering me with money? The next morning, my brother took me to the civil affairs office to get the divorce paperwork done. As we got out of the car, we saw Jason's car parked there. He was getting out with a woman in the passenger seat at Gloria, my old classmate. I walked up to Jason. Let's go, I said. Jason glanced at my brother's Maybach behind me and narrowed his eyes a bit. Who's that? He asked. I gave a slight smile. None of your business. Jason's expression was ice cold. Becky, you've wanted this divorce for a while now, haven't you? His turning the tables made me feel sick, and I lost my patience. Let's get this over with. Jason looked at my brother's car again but didn't move. What's the holdup? Or have you changed your mind? Gloria's waiting for you in the car. Jason's eyes were shadowed as he looked at me, hesitated, and then turned to go inside. I followed him in and filed for divorce, with a cooling-off period of a month. After leaving the office, as I was getting into the car, Jason called out to me, Becky, if $2 million isn't enough, I can increase it. How much do you want? I turned back, chuckling, save your money for your next marriage. You never actually liked me as much as you showed, did you? Jason suddenly asked. We had been married for 3 years with barely any conversation. Now he wanted to talk about love? It was ridiculous. Jason, my love for you was real then, and my indifference now is real too. Got any more questions? He didn't say another word. I got in the car. My brother asked, what did you even see in him? His looks. I replied honestly. My brother was speechless. He had the driver take us straight to the company. No time to catch my breath, he threw me into a director position immediately. As soon as I sat down, he tossed a folder in front of me. You're in charge of this project. Go through the documents and get familiar with it. Then he left the room. Where are you going? I asked. To find your sister-in-law. I started reviewing the project and got a headache. There wasn't even approval for the land yet. What kind of project was this supposed to be? Looks like I'd have to start from scratch. But I was all in. I called my assistant right away to set up meetings. Men may come and go, but a woman needs her career. The day the dinner meeting was set, Jason called me to pick up things I had left at his place. I told him I didn't want them. Just as I was about to hang up, he said, there are some personal belongings of yours too. Fine, I'll go and personally decide what to toss or donate. When I got to the Alden house, everyone was there. Jason's sister Ava gave me a once-over. Wow, found another man already? That outfit must have cost a pretty penny. I glanced down. This isn't even worth 30 grand. You poor Ava was taken aback. I ignored her and went upstairs with my crew to pack my stuff for donation. I bought it all with my own money anyway. As for the money Jason had given me once downstairs, I told Jason, the money you gave me, it's in an account in the nightstand. Jason paused, looking weirdly at me. Becky, you've got a place to stay. I glanced back at him, didn't respond and left. Of course, I had a place, my home's next to the palace. Out the door, I bumped into Gloria. It looked like she'd been crying and she avoided eye contact. I didn't greet her. While walking out, I overheard the maids gossiping. So bold, crying like that. Doesn't she worry about shame? If she didn't cry, Mr. Alden wouldn't have agreed to clear out the wife's things for her. What's Mr. Alden even thinking? The wife is so pretty. Poor wife. Gloria's just a homewrecker, not that poor. I heard Mr. Alden gave the wife quite a sum as compensation. Isn't money better than a man? I nodded in agreement. Yep, money beats Jason any day. But I didn't take his money, a small amount doesn't interest me. I needed to focus on the project first. At 8 p.m., I was in a private room at the restaurant waiting. 5 minutes after I arrived, a key official walked in, someone I call Uncle Enzo. I was hoping for his help with the land approval, but why did he bring someone with him? Smiling, Uncle Enzo said, Becky, meet Felix, CEO of the Vermin Group. Felix, this is Becky, the chairman's daughter from Max Group. Felix gave me a faint smile and offered his hand. Hey, Becky, long time no see. Uncle Enzo was surprised. You two know each other. I composed myself, offering a polite smile, shaking Felix's hand back. Yes, we went to college together, Felix. Long time no see. Uncle Enzo seemed a bit troubled, hinting that I'd have to compete with Felix for the land. I was dead set on it until I discovered Felix was the competition. Back in school, I once told this guy off. Felix was the bully king of Washington back then. Dominated our campus and even scared off kids from other schools. None of that mattered to me until he started bullying Jason. Jason was smart, a top student, never needing family help, even winning a full scholarship and bringing tons of honors to our school. Felix picked on him out of jealousy, so I just had to tell him off. 3. It was the interdepartment basketball friendship game, and our guy Jason was on the court. While playing against Felix, things got rough. Felix accidentally smashed the basketball right into Jason's nose, causing it to bleed, and Jason passed out on the spot. Once we were sure Jason was okay, I cornered Felix at the entrance of the school building. Felix, I know asking you to apologize to Jason might be pointless. No worries, Jason doesn't need that. But seriously, you're an adult now. Quit wandering around like a jerk. Back then, I never would have guessed that Felix and I would cross paths like this again. It's what you'd call a crazy twist of fate. Honestly, I was tempted to back out. Normally, I'm the kind of person who fights for things. And, yeah, I should fight for what I want. I stood up and poured a glass of wine for Uncle Enzo. Uncle Enzo, let me give you a toast. He downed the wine and laughed. Becky, I heard from your dad yesterday that you've returned to the family business. He used to complain that your brother is busy with his own company and you wouldn't come back. He was practically at his wit's end. Now that you're back, he's finally relieved. I nodded with a smile. Yes, I'll be taking over the company, and then Uncle Enzo, I'll need your guidance. Felix briefly glanced over at me as Enzo switched topics. By the way, Becky, are you seeing anyone? I felt Felix's gaze. Back in school, everyone knew I was into Jason, including Felix. To keep things smooth with Felix, I decided to distance myself from Jason. In fact, soon enough, we wouldn't have any ties at all. I'm currently in the middle of a divorce, just waiting out the 1-month cool-off period. Uncle Enzo nodded, a bit surprised, and moved on to another topic. Not that he needed to. Marriage wasn't a sore point for me. After a bit more drinking, we got down to business. Felix already comes from money. Sure, everyone says my brother tops the rich list, but truly elite families like the Vermans play in another league. Rich lists barely register to them, so I was worried about going up against Felix. But Felix said, if Becky wants that piece of land, I'll step aside. Is this real? I got the land. After seeing Uncle Enzo off, I turned to face Felix. Felix was looking right back. Over the years, he'd grown more refined and charming. And honestly, I suddenly noticed Felix was way better looking than Jason. Back then, my dislike for Felix was partly because he was always against Jason, like mortal enemies, and partly because of his bad rep. But now that I think about it, Felix never really did anything to me personally. I gave a polite smile. Thank you, Felix. I'll have to treat you to a meal sometime. Felix gave a meaningful smile. No biggie, just something small. Besides, sometimes you gain more by letting things go. I was genuinely surprised. Felix had changed so much. He didn't even hold a grudge against me, and now wasn't even competing with me over the land. I was really thankful to him. Since he put it that way, I smiled back and nodded before getting into my car. Becky, Felix called out. I turned to look at him. Anything else, Felix? He took out his phone. Let's exchange numbers, since you're treating me to dinner. I thought he wouldn't really take me up on it. After swapping numbers with Felix, I headed home. I've been caught up with work since then, everything else just slipped my mind. My mom actually had to remind me about the divorce. I quickly texted Jason to meet at the civil office tomorrow morning. The next day my brother drove me there, but stayed in the car. Jason showed up too, with Gloria, who came over all smiles. She seemed in a much better mood than before. Becky, long time no see. I gave a small smile. It hasn't been that long. I saw you last month. Then I looked at Jason. Let's go, get the papers signed. After a few steps, I noticed Jason wasn't following, so I turned back. Jason, hurry up. Gloria gave him a small nudge and finally, he walked with me into the office. While signing, Jason just held his pen, hesitating. I lost my patience. Jason, don't make me get people to hold you down to sign. Jason let out a cold laugh. Are you really in such a rush to divorce me? Is this guy for real? He's the one who wanted a divorce because of another girl, and now I'm supposed to be crying my eyes out to stop it? I called my brother. Bring some folks in here. Jason widened his eyes, then grudgingly nodded and signed his name. Stamp. Finally got the divorce certificate. Once outside, my brother was there to meet me. What happened in there? Nothing. It's all good now. Let's go. I took his arm and we left. Becky, I hope life treats you well from here on. Take care. Jason's words had a deeper meaning as he said them behind my back. It honestly just left me speechless. Everyone's got a foolish mistake in their youth, right? Once in the car, my brother asked, what did he mean by that? I shrugged. No idea. He's been acting weird, but I won't have to deal with him anymore. My brother lightly patted my shoulder. That's good. By the way, how's the project going? I heard you got the land. Nice job. I owe that to Felix backing off. Just then, my phone rang. It was Felix. Becky, free tonight? You still owe me that dinner. I quickly agreed. Of course, I'm free. If I can work things out with Felix, I'll have a much easier time in the business world. Seeing me so excited, my brother laughed too. Who is it? Felix. Felix? My brother was surprised, but soon got the idea. No wonder you didn't put up a fight over the divorce with Jason. I pressed my lips together, speechless. My divorce from Jason is between us. It has nothing to do with Felix. Don't act like Jason did, as if I was mentally cheating first. My brother squinted his eyes suddenly. Did Jason say that? I shook my head. Who knows what he thinks? My brother gave a cold laugh. That guy will regret it one day. Do I care if he regrets it or not? I'm focused on my career. At 7:30, Felix and I sat across from each other at the restaurant. Felix raised his glass, smiling. Congratulations. I quickly raised mine too. Thanks, I couldn't have done it without your help, senior. As I sipped my drink, Felix added, I meant congrats on the divorce. I almost choked. It's the first time I've been congratulated on a divorce. Felix raised an eyebrow. What? Still hung up on your ex? I put my glass down. Not at all. Felix's lips curled up slightly, as if pleased with my response. Why does he look so happy though? Whatever the reason, I might as well take advantage of his good mood. I cleared my throat and cautiously asked, Senior, what were you planning to do with that land you wanted to buy? Felix gave a light smile. Plan to invest in an industrial park. That perfectly matches my project. Well then, Senior, are you interested in collaborating with me? Felix ran his fingers lightly over the rim of his glass and gave me a meaningful look. Sure. He agreed so easily. I'm a little suspicious that he's trying to lull me into a false sense of security before seeking revenge. But Felix is probably better than that. I shouldn't judge his character so harshly. As we continued talking over dinner, it was clear Felix was a total pro. Following him, I'd surpass my brother in no time. I was silently thrilled, not aware my smile never left my face. Felix finally asked softly, that happy? I was about to nod but stopped. I'm the project manager here, and I can't seem too eager, even if it's Felix. I toned down my smile and nodded seriously. Of course, working with the famous Felix is naturally exciting. Felix chuckled, turning his head to look outside with an even bigger smile on his face. Do I look funny or something? Clearly, Felix and I aren't on the same level. I've lost my edge because I haven't worked since graduation. From now on, I'll keep up with Felix. As we were leaving the restaurant, Felix said, Where do you live? I'll drive you home. No need, Senior, my driver is waiting outside. No need to be so formal. We're old friends, and we'll be working together. Just call me Felix, he suggested softly. Call him Felix? I couldn't bring myself to say it. Felix chuckled softly. I tried opening my mouth but couldn't say his name. Felt awkward. I'll stick with calling you Senior, it's familiar. Felix nodded slightly. Then I won't be formal either. Becky? How can he make my name sound so affectionate? Felix ended up driving me home. In the car, he talked a lot. Sitting next to him, I felt like a student getting extra tutoring. He's impressive. His perspective is on another level. I couldn't help but stare at him, not realizing it myself. Felix leaned in suddenly, his lips parting slightly. Becky? I startled, snapping back to reality with my face heating up. Huh? Felix's eyes twinkled with laughter, his voice still low and soft. Can't hear me? Should I lean in closer? No. I swallowed nervously. I heard you just fine. Phew, what was that just now? Felt like I was under some spell. At my doorstep, I invited Felix in. He politely declined. It's late tonight, maybe another time when I formally visit your parents. Alright, see you, Senior. I waved as Felix drove off. Once inside, the more I thought about it, the stranger it seemed. Formally visit your parents? Sounded like meeting the family. Felix was acting odd today. Back in my room, I sent a message to my future sister-in-law and best friend, Jade. Jade, do you remember Felix? After a while, Jade sent a video call request. Why suddenly bring up Felix? She asked. My brother was in the background, fiddling around. I glanced past her. Jade chuckled. Your brother's cooking, he's all over the place, not sure if it'll be edible. He never cooks at home, but he's whipped for his fiancée. Am I intruding on you too? Jade smiled softly. Tell me, why Felix all of a sudden? I explained everything about reuniting with Felix and our potential collaboration. Jade burst out laughing. I blinked, confused. Why are you laughing? I think you've got a new romance blooming. My brother leaned in. What? Jade turned to him. Felix. My brother's brow furrowed immediately. Forget Felix, you just got free from Jason's ordeal. Don't jump into another mess. Jade gave him a look. Is only you, my brother, not a mess? I'm a mess too, trapping you forever, he replied, planting a kiss on her lips. Gross, my brother is disgusting. I hung up immediately. Soon after, he called me. He said, I don't mind you working with Felix, it's a smart move, but Felix, like his name, is complicated. 5 Girl, you can't just judge people by their faces. Haven't you learned your lesson from Jason? You're making me sound like a total fangirl. When the property deal was officially closed, I went to check it out with Felix. It was almost noon, and Felix asked me, what do you want to eat? I was really happy for 2 reasons. The property deal went smoothly, and working with Felix taught me a lot. Plus, he has a much wider network than I do, which is a bonus. So I asked him back, what do you want to eat? Felix chuckled softly. You're treating? Of course. Half an hour later, we were at a restaurant. After ordering, Felix suddenly called my name. Becky. Every time he says it like that, it gets me all flustered. It might be a small thing, but it feels kind of flirty. I looked up at him. The project's about to start over there. We need to keep a close watch. Are you traveling anytime soon? I snapped out of my little fantasy and shook my head. Nope, I'm just focusing on this one project right now. Great, let's stay in touch and exchange ideas. Felix's way of talking is so gentle, it's almost like it has a hook. How did the school bully turn into this? Can I ask you a personal question? Felix looked at me intensely. Sure, but it's gotta be a trade. Figures, he's all business, won't even take a loss on a conversation. I cleared my throat. I just wanted to ask, do you have a girlfriend right now? Felix gave a lazy smile. Why? Want to date me? No. I waved my hands, needing to clear that huge misunderstanding. I just wanted to cozy up to Felix for his connections, nothing more. But honestly, Felix is the kind of guy on top of the world right now. His background and skills are really attractive. Just being nosy, you know? No, Felix replied. I was kind of surprised. Felix isn't that young, no girlfriend, maybe he's just really focused on work. I'm sort of in the same boat right now. Having this bit of personal chat made me feel like the distance between us closed a little. Seems like I owe Felix an apology. About those things I said to you back then, sorry. Felix raised an eyebrow. What things? Never mind, maybe it's best not to remind him of what I did. I just smiled and changed the subject. Back in school, I never saw you dating anyone. You really didn't have someone you liked? Felix looked at me. I did, someone I've liked since college till now. My mouth dropped a bit. Felix is actually that deep? Are you guys together now? Felix kept looking at me. Almost. For real. Congrats. I was genuinely happy for Felix, but why did his face turn dark? I didn't say anything wrong. Felix leaned back in his chair. Your turn for a question. I nodded. Why did you and Jason divorce? I smiled lightly. He didn't like me, so we divorced. Do you still like him? No. I knew what I was saying. Actually, my feelings for Jason didn't just vanish the moment he brought up divorce. From 17 years old, when I fell for him at first sight, until this year when we divorced at 25, my love gradually faded in his coldness. Unrequited love all those years was like a heavy burden, so once I let go, I felt so relieved. Felix's expression softened, a hint of a smile appearing. You deserve better. He wasn't right for you. Things were buzzing at the industrial park, and Felix kept inviting me over to check things out nearly every other day. I didn't get it, since when are site inspections so thorough? I went to check it out again today, and afterward, Felix offered to take me out to eat. We've shared quite a few meals lately. When I got home, Jade was there and teased me when she saw Felix dropping me off. You seem to be seeing Felix a lot these days. We're working on a project together, so we have to meet often. But Felix could have gotten that property on his own. Jade's comment got me thinking. It's true, if I had to compete with Felix, there's a 90% chance I wouldn't win. What did Felix say back then? Suddenly, something clicked in my mind, like a light bulb went off. Jade, he said he didn't lose anything. It's just, Jade gasped as if she stumbled upon a big secret. Felix likes you. I kind of felt the same. It all made sense. He gave up the property to me, worked with me, invited me out every few days, and he calls me Becky, all because of that saying, lost at the East, gained from Becky. I hadn't put much thought into it before, but now, my heart skipped a beat, matching Jade's knowing glance. I couldn't help but smile. But, Felix already likes someone else. I shook my head, clearing those crazy thoughts. It's a misunderstanding. Felix has someone he likes, and they're about to be together. Really? Who is it? Jade asked with a sly grin. It's probably someone from our school. He said he's liked her since college. Jade's eyes twinkled with amusement. That's pretty romantic. It's not just like, it's deep, deep love. Yeah, he must really, really love that girl. She's lucky to be loved so long and deeply. That's a kind of love I can only admire from afar. 6. Jade was talking business. As the chair of the Angel Charity Foundation, I always stress about where to host our yearly gala. This year, I'm fresh out of ideas. I was thinking we could host an alumni event at our alma mater and do some fundraising. Sounds like a plan. I agreed wholeheartedly. Jade seemed pleased with my support. Great, I'll leave it to you to hand the invitation to Felix, she said. Jade quickly coordinated with the school, and we set the charity gala for the evening of July 2nd, which happens to be a Saturday, a perfect time for everyone to hang out and relax. I picked out my dress a week in advance, a custom piece my brother ordered for me 6 months ago. Admiring myself in the mirror, my brother called from outside, "Come on, sis, it's your sister-in-law's big day. You should head over early to help out." Ever since he started dating Jade, I felt my brother's attention slipping away. But I'm still the one who set them up. Holding the hem of my dress, I asked, "Why didn't you go with Jade?" Pulling me along, he replied, "Your sister-in-law is already there. Hurry up." I hadn't been back to the school in ages, and not much had changed except for a few new buildings. As we got out of the car, my brother pointed towards one of them. "That's Felix's donation." "Yeah, I see," I replied as we headed to the admin building. He mentioned, "Jade said Felix has a thing for you." "Nah, he's into someone else. It's been years." He suddenly paused and said, "Jason and Glaria will be there tonight too." I wasn't surprised since we're all alumni. My brother watched me for a moment and then chuckled. I'm glad you've moved on from Jason. Of course, I assured him. I linked arms with him at the entrance of the banquet hall, playful, and said, Jade will be busy tonight, so I'll be your +1. He shook off my hand, saying, Nah, I'm off to find Jade. Really? He's just going to leave me here alone? I quickly caught up to him, not wanting to be by myself. As my brother was about to say something, I heard someone call my name, Becky. Turning towards the voice, I saw Glaria on Jason's arm. They looked good together, like a perfect match. Glaria gave my brother a once-over, then asked, Becky, is this your boyfriend? Nope. Why bother with introductions when we're in different circles? Jason stepped up and extended a hand to my brother. Hi, I'm Jason. My brother, who has a dislike for Jason, ignored the gesture and just gave a curt nod. Hey. Jason withdrew his hand, clearly uncomfortable. Glaria then complimented my dress. Becky, this dress is gorgeous. What brand is it? I told her, and she nodded. Oh, never heard of it, but it's quite lovely. New brands are getting so flashy to catch attention. I prefer something simple and understated. Letting my brother go find Jade, I decided to chat with them for fun. Your dress is from Dior's latest collection, right? Nice and low-key, fitting for a charity gala. Maybe mine's a bit too much. After all, Jade's the star tonight, and I can steal the spotlight however I want. Glaria chuckled. Yeah, I have a lot of Chanel and LV at home I didn't use. This is my most modest dress. Jason remained silent, just watching me with an expression that almost seemed guilty. Do I look like a charity case? Suddenly, Jason freed himself from Glaria's arm. Let me talk to Becky for a second. I'll be back. Glaria agreed with a warm smile. Sure, I'll wait for you. Jason led me to a corner and sighed softly. How've you been? Pretty great. Getting by okay? I was about to respond when he continued, Becky, I mean well, just hoping you're doing alright. Seriously? Do I seem like I'm doing poorly? It was kind of funny. Come on, Jason, save your concern for Glaria. I don't need it. I tried to leave, but Jason grabbed my arm. Why won't you take my money? And why should I? With a serious look, he said, I remember you liked buying clothes, but now, is he not treating you well? So he had overheard Glaria hinting I couldn't afford Dior and assumed the worst. I'm doing fantastic, I said, brushing off his hand and heading back to the crowd. Glaria waved at me. Becky. I walked over, and she introduced me. This is Molly, our senior. She's the princess of the Star Group. I nodded. Hi, Molly. I'm Becky. Molly repeated my name. Becky, as in, do you like Dior too? Glaria asked with a smile. I love the piece you're wearing, but it was sold out, she admitted. Really? Glaria nodded. Yeah, but Becky's dress is beautiful, even if it's from a smaller brand. The craftsmanship is impressive. Do I laugh, or do I laugh? Molly gently touched my dress. It's really pretty, never seen it before. Who's the designer? I told her the name. Molly chuckled and glanced at Glaria. Glaria, don't you usually follow fashion? Glaria looked a bit excited. I do, somewhat. Like Dior, Chanel. I've been ordering some stuff, they'll be arriving at my place soon. I exchanged a look with Molly. Molly shook her head with a smile. Glaria, are those the only brands you know? How about Georges Hobeika, Elie Saab, Zuhair Murad? Glaria's smile froze. I've heard of them, of course. Don't just know the names, you should really learn about them. They're the basics, Molly said, then turned to me. Becky, which brand do you like? It's a shame we still need to quarantine when we travel, or we could go to Fashion Week together. Molly is in the high society circle, and she doesn't really take people like Glaria seriously. Glaria kind of set herself up for this. I mentioned a few brands I liked. I remember you wore that brand when you got invited to the charity ball in Paris at 16. I saw the pictures, Molly sighed. Too bad they only invite top socialites from around the world, and I'm not that fortunate. What? Glaria looked at me, shocked. Molly hooked her arm with mine and walked away. After a bit, she laughed softly and said, it's not that I look down on people, but some folks are just ridiculous. I agree with that. I never felt superior because of my circle, but Glaria's clown-like behavior is pretty amusing. Thanks for standing up for me, I said. I knew Molly was backing me up against Glaria. Molly smiled. No problem. Having a chance to be friends with you is an honor for me. See, another connection I made. We were chatting when a commotion broke out. My brother was in a fight with Jason. What's going on? I rushed over to break it up. Jason pointed at my brother. Is this the guy you like? He was just cozying up with that woman. Look at his lipstick. I guess I should have been clearer with Jason, but I never expected him to stand up for me like this. Wanting to give me money, hoping I do well, and now getting into a fight on my behalf at such an important event, yet he wasn't like this when we were together. I introduced them. This is my brother, and that's my sister-in-law. What? Jason was stunned. My brother wiped the blood from his lip, smirking. Turns out Mr. Alden was standing up for my sister? As her brother, I should thank you. But my sister doesn't need your help. No one dares to mess with the Andreas family, right? Jason seemed to realize, staring at me in disbelief. You're from the Andreas family? That Andreas family? I nodded. No more hiding, my brother's a billionaire. I laid it out. Jason couldn't believe it. Why didn't you ever tell me? Why should I tell you about my family? You don't even like me. You should hurry and find Gloria. She's all about Dior and Chanel. You're sitting on a few billion. Better buy her nice stuff so she doesn't look like a nouveau riche. It's embarrassing. Just as I said that, Gloria showed up. I saw her facial muscles twitching. Let's get your wound cleaned, I told my brother. Jade helped him away. I was about to leave when Jason grabbed me. Becky, don't worry, it's just a casual charity event. We're all classmates here. This won't get out, I smiled, adding, but even if it does, it wouldn't affect you much. You're not mingling with top-tier folks anyway, right? I went to grab the auction catalog. The fundraiser was about to start, and I donated an emerald necklace. A bit later, everyone was seated and the auction began. I'd already picked a few items to bid on. Someone took the seat next to me. It was Felix. Senior, I thought you weren't coming, I said. Felix, in a custom suit, leaned closer. How could I miss it when my junior invited me? Why does he talk like that? I'm getting goosebumps. Felix glanced at my catalog. See anything you like? I sensed something but didn't want to overthink, so I just smiled. Just browsing. The auctioneer started calling out items. It began with simpler stuff, a few thousand, tens of thousands. It's just a reunion, not a high-profile event. Next, this emerald necklace from Miss Becky starts at $10,000. So far, my necklace was the priciest. Someone raised their paddle, and soon it was going up to $100,000. Suddenly, Felix lifted his paddle, $200,000. My necklace was worth, like $120,000 tops. Man, Felix's bid just elevated this auction to a whole new level. Why, senior? I asked. Felix raised a brow playfully. I like it. Besides, a necklace from my junior is priceless to me. 200 grams of steel. I glanced around. Great, I'm now the center of attention. I like the spotlight, but this is a bit overwhelming. The auction finally got to the jade pipe I liked, starting at $1,000. I immediately raised my paddle, but Felix did too. From the start, it was just him going against me for this pipe. Sure, he's a top dog, but that doesn't mean he can take what I love. I was annoyed. That $1,000 pipe ended up with Felix bidding it up to 10 grand. Is he crazy? Felix, are you doing this on purpose? I asked, annoyed. Felix chuckled, seeming pretty pleased. Becky finally said my name? He replied. Why did saying his name feel so embarrassing? I gave up. Going once, going twice, 10,000, sold. I declared I officially hated Felix. I pulled out my phone to message Jade. Can you get that 18th century bedside table for me? If Felix knew I also wanted that, he'd definitely snatch it away too. That jerk, Felix asked softly. Are you mad? No, I retorted. Okay, my tone gave me away, but hey, when you're plotting revenge, it's hard to hide it. My jade pipe. Eventually, Jade got the bedside table. Yay! Mine. Feeling smug, I whispered to Felix, Jade got it for me. Ha! Take that. Felix paused and then laughed low, enough to make his chest vibrate. What's so funny? What are you laughing at? I demanded. Felix tried to stifle his laughter and finally looked at me. I just think Becky is too cute. I announced once again, I hate Felix. The auction was over. Because of Felix and my brother, they raised nearly $50 million. The funds were all going to help students and research projects at our school. Soon enough, Felix was surrounded by people. Felix, we know you got money, but no need to show off with your old classmates, someone teased. I chimed in, exactly. Felix smiled, can't help it, for a beauty's smile, it's worth every penny. He glanced at me meaningfully. I paused. When he said beauty, was he talking about me? Everyone laughed. Who did Felix fall for? Must be a real stunner to catch his eye, they joked. Felix nodded towards me. Yeah, definitely a goddess. My cheeks went hot. Crap, was I overthinking this? I quickly left but was pulled aside by Jason a few steps away. He dragged me outside. Do you like Felix? He asked. I shook him off. What's it to you? Becky, you know he's my rival. Why are you messing with him? Messing. We're both single. Even if we were together, it's none of your business, right? Then a lazy voice chimed in, not just none of your business, it's the most natural thing. I turned around to see Felix approaching with Gloria trailing behind. Jason. Gloria hurried over. What's going on? Jason stared daggers at Felix, staying silent. Anger flared across Gloria's face as she glared at me. Becky, you're divorced from Jason. Why keep pestering him? Pestering Jason? What a joke. I never called you a homewrecker, yet here you are accusing me, homewrecker? Don't say such awful things. Gloria lowered her head and started crying as if she'd suffered the world's greatest injustice. Gross. She's such a hypocrite. I'm just stating facts. During my 3-year marriage with Jason, can you really say you two never met secretly? No need to spell out what you did, right, Becky? Jason started, but I cut him off. And you, Jason, I wanted an amicable goodbye. But it seems you don't. If you dare cross me, just know, I won't hold back against lowlifes. With that, I walked past them. When I got to my brother's car, Felix's voice called out, Becky, need any help? Taking on jerks and homewreckers sounds fun. I turned and glared at him. You're just like them, always picking on me. You even snatched my jade pipe, Felix. I hate you. The next morning I woke up full of regret. Why did I snap at Felix last night? He just took the jade pipe. That's still way better than dealing with Jason and Gloria. Did I tick Felix off? I sighed, grabbing my phone. Felix had messaged me, going to the construction site tomorrow, 10:30 sharp. Another site visit? 3 or 4 times a week. Even the foreman must be sick of it. I quickly replied, got it. I got out of bed, got ready, and went down for breakfast. At the table, my dad glanced at me over the newspaper. How are things with Felix? He asked. What do you mean? I was puzzled. What's going on with him? My dad lowered the paper. About the project. Right. It's just started. Things are smooth. No big issues yet. My dad nodded approvingly. Our little girl is really getting her footing now. Once this project's done, no one at the company will dare speak badly about her. I knew some at the company weren't convinced of me, said I was just a pretty face with connections. My dad was right, I have to do well with this project. When I got to the construction site, Felix's handsome face came into view. He smiled warmly. Still mad? No, I grumbled. I'm telling the truth. Jason and Gloria aren't worth getting upset over, and as for Felix, I'm not gonna start a fight with him. Who can turn down an offer from someone as influential as him? Are you sure? Felix glanced at his watch. Then let's go, I'll treat you to dinner. Dinner again? You haven't done your inspection yet. Felix raised an eyebrow. If I didn't mention the inspection, would you have come out to see me? I was a bit puzzled. Lately, he's been saying things like this. It makes me think, but I don't want to overthink. Plus, isn't he into someone else? I got a little annoyed and started walking back to the car. Felix quickly caught up and blocked my way. Why are you mad again? Is it about the jade pipe? He chuckled and took my hand, pulling out a small, exquisite box from behind his back and placing it in my hand. I opened it and saw it was the jade pipe I had my eyes on at the charity gala last night. What do you mean by this? Felix said, I originally wanted to make a beauty smile, but it seems like I've made you mad instead. I knew that the beauty was me. I am a beauty, but I wouldn't accept the jade pipe that easily. Here, I don't want it, I said with a hint of pride. Felix laughed lowly. Really don't want it? I tilted my head away and said, when I say no, I mean it. Felix clicked his tongue. Alright, seems like the jade pipe won't work. In that case, I'll just offer myself instead. I figured it out. Felix likes me, but I once sided with Jason against him. Jade suddenly thought of something. Why does Felix always target Jason? With her question, I realized something too. Do you like him? Jade asked. I pondered a bit and then shook my head. I don't know. I really don't. Forget it, I just want to focus on working right now. Jade asked, by the way, what's up with Gloria? I saw a lot of people mocking her in the group chat. Did Molly say anything? I chuckled. Isn't Gloria with Jason now? Maybe her lifestyle improved a bit. She mocked my dress at the gala for being a small brand compared to her Dior haute couture. Jade smiled. She reminds me of when I first started seeing your brother. A bit clueless. Your circle is hard to break into. You're different from Gloria. Besides, you don't need to force your way in. They want you there. Jade never got ahead of herself for dating my brother, unlike Gloria, who has this nouveau riche attitude. My phone buzzed. It was a message from Felix. Dinner tonight? Not going. Felix, what will it take to have the honor of dining with you, Lady Becky? Since he's asking, I guess I'll play a little hard to get. Let me think about it. I'll let you know. Felix sent a crying emoji. I'm heartbroken. Smooth talker. I tossed my phone aside and continued chatting with Jade. Later, my brother came back and cooked us a big dinner. Thanks to Jade, I got to enjoy his cooking. After dinner, Jade said, stay over tonight, it's late. I sat cross-legged on the sofa, flipping through a fashion magazine. I wasn't planning to leave. My brother chimed in, you can stay downstairs. Yep, he's definitely my brother. My phone buzzed again. It was Felix. He had sent a picture of a fish fillet and a glass of champagne. Since you're not dining with me, I'm making do. No appetite. Oh, come on. No appetite and you're having champagne? Felix, come over and I'll open the good stuff for you to drink. I'd end up drunk. Felix, perfect. Perfect. My foot. I ignored him again. Eventually, Felix sent another message. Are you mad? Still ignoring him. He ended up calling me. I hung up and blocked him. Felix, you blocked me? I set the phone aside and flipped through my magazine. He kept messaging. He sure is free. Even when I hit the sack, he sent another message. Your emerald necklace is still with me. When will you come to pick it up? Coming to the inspection tomorrow. Why are you ignoring me? Still mad? He sent many messages, and the last one was, good night. I locked the screen, set my phone aside, and turned off the lights. In the dark, a smile crept onto my lips. Felix is into me, right? The next day, I went straight to the office. Felix sent me loads of messages, but I ignored them. Unexpectedly, Jason called. Since I was in a meeting, I ended it. About half an hour after the meeting, Jason called again. This time, I picked up. Jason said, Becky, can we meet? While flipping through a proposal, I replied, don't worry. As long as you keep Glaria in check and don't bother me, I won't trouble you. Jason was silent for a few seconds, his tone deepening. I just want to clear some things up with you face to face. I was baffled. What's there to clear up? I'm not aware of anything. Can we meet? But I don't want to see you. I hung up. Felix messaged again. I bought 2 movie tickets. What time do you get off work? I'll pick you up. Seriously, I never agreed to a date and he went ahead buying the tickets. Talk about assuming things. I didn't bother replying. My dad came in at that moment. Honey, I'm heading to L.A. for a business trip. I nodded, all right, don't worry about the company, Dad. I'll take care of it. My dad cleared his throat. Actually, I'll let you handle the company. What does he mean? Hasn't he always been in charge? My dad says, well, this means you'll have to go on business trips for me. My brother ignores me, and now my dad's trying to rope me in. I can't stay here anymore. I'm out of here. So, I headed off on a trip. I was gone for a half a month before coming back. To celebrate the success of my first business trip, my parents threw a welcome home party. I couldn't believe it. Did they really think I was so useless before? A business trip deserves a celebration? Seems like I really disappointed them back then. All because of Jason. I was blinded. Good thing I found my way back. After the successful trip, my dad officially announced that I'm the successor of Max Group. For someone who's always kept a low profile like me, this announcement threw my name into the spotlight, catching the attention of major business and financial magazines. I blew up, even hit the entertainment circles. Some folks started comparing me to other rich girls, but most of the chatter was that I was too green. Lately, Jason's been acting weird, either calling or messaging me constantly. Just today, as I got off work and walked out of the building, I saw Felix leaning against a car. I cleared my throat, held my head high, and walked proudly toward my car. Felix approached me with a smile, blocking my way. I stopped, raised an eyebrow. Felix, long time no see, what's up? Felix's smile deepened. You haven't replied to my messages. I looked him straight in the eye, didn't want to. So when are you planning to reply? I shrugged. Felix stared at me intensely, making me a bit uneasy. I dropped the confrontational look and pouted. You need something else? Felix kept looking at me, and after a moment, he said hoarsely, you're truly beautiful. Back home, my face was still hot, my heart racing. Felix, that charmer, he's just too much. I bit my lip and quietly took Felix's number off my blacklist. So is this what being smitten feels like? I called Jade. What do you think I should do? Jade chuckled. What are you even talking about? I couldn't help but smile. Felix came to see me. Guess what he said? Jade giggled non-stop. I kicked my feet in frustration. Ask me already. Hurry up. Jade burst into laughter. Becky, I've never seen you like this before. Do you feel like everything's sweet now, and just thinking about him makes you smile? I pursed my lips. How'd she know? When your brother was chasing me, I felt the same, Jade confessed. To be honest, when he first confessed, I felt the same way, but I still made him chase me for a year. Why? I asked, puzzled. Maybe I was too picky. I admitted my feelings, but wouldn't face them. But Becky, you must admit, this stage of ambiguity is thrilling. You should cherish it. It'll be a sweet memory later on. I'm feeling that sweetness right now. Should I make him chase me for a year too? That's up to you, Jade replied. I wasn't just enjoying the ambiguity. I was insecure about not being good enough for your brother. But you're different, Becky. I placed my hand over my heart and felt it pounding. I'll just wait for him to say he likes me, then. I didn't get to hear Felix say he likes me. Instead, Jason did. Yeah, he said he liked me. He showed up unexpectedly and stopped me from getting into my car. Becky, I have something to tell you. I looked at him in surprise. Why are you here? He looked at me intently, his expression urgent. Becky, I broke up with Glaria. What? I thought I liked her, but after being with her, I realized it was just an obsession. I like you, Jason confessed sincerely. It was the first time I saw him so emotional. Usually, he was cold and distant. This change was shocking, but also amusing to me. Really? What a pity. I don't like you anymore. Jason's expression turned sad. You've fallen for Felix, haven't you? That's none of your business. I pulled my hand away. Jason, we agreed on a clean break. Don't contact me again. Can you give me another chance? He stepped closer, eyes pleading. Please, Becky, I truly regret it. I've liked you for a long time. Remember when I had that appendicitis surgery and you stayed with me all night? I'll never forget that day. Actually, every day with you is memorable. Now he tells me, huh? Jason's eyes turned red with pain in his voice. I really hate myself. I should have admitted my feelings long ago, but I didn't. Becky, it's all in the past. I exhaled deeply. Jason, we're not possible anymore. Jason's unexpected confession shook me. The guy I loved all through my youth suddenly tells me he loved me too. I felt like laughing. Maybe this is just how fate plays games with us. I don't want to end things with Jason on bad terms. It wouldn't be right to dismiss the real feelings and efforts I had. But I truly don't love him anymore. I've let it go. So, goodbye, Jason. Goodbye to that chapter of my life. Wait a sec. I'm only 25. I'm still in my prime. After turning down Jason, I felt a lot lighter and invited Jade out for dinner. Then we went home together. 11 right before 8 o'clock, my brother suddenly sent me a video. I clicked to watch, and saw two people wrestling each other. It took me a moment to realize it was Felix and Jason. Felix was one of those past school bullies, so it didn't take long before he had Jason on the ground. Pointing at Jason, he said, "You're going for leftovers and you think it's okay?" Jason wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Becky likes me. She's loved me for so many years. I don't buy for a second she's got no feelings for me anymore. The video ended there. I recognized the spot. It was right below Jade's place. Those two actually went there to fight. So childish. After a bit, my brother came back. Are they still fighting? He just shrugged and said, when I came up, they were still going at it. Jade turned to him and asked, why didn't you break it up? One of them could be your future brother-in-law, you know. My brother glanced my way. Felix? I avoided his eyes. I remembered him warning me not to get involved with Felix. Why do you look so guilty? If you really like him, do you think I could stop you? At least Felix is way better than Jason, worthy of my sister. I buried my face in a pillow, embarrassed. What are you talking about? A long silence followed. My brother chimed in again. All right, I remember when you were chasing Jason. There wasn't a hint of embarrassment. I went back to my room and called Felix. He picked up quickly. Miss me? That flirtatious tone, gotta admit, it's pretty sexy. Did you fight Jason? Why did you guys come here to fight? Felix replied, come out and I'll tell you. Is he still downstairs? Is Jason gone? I changed clothes and headed down. Under the streetlight, I saw it was only Felix. Approaching him, I spotted a small bruise on his cheekbone. You got just a little mph. He suddenly pulled me into his arms, planting a hard kiss on me. I struggled, heart racing, and weak-kneed. After what felt like forever, he finally let go, his voice raspy. Becky, I can't wait anymore. You can hit me or make me chase you forever, but I want to assert my husband rights ahead of time because you are definitely mine. Such a typical bad boy CEO, not disappointed at all. Okay, then I'll let you chase me forever. Felix, I couldn't help but laugh. After grabbing some ointment from Jade's place, I helped treat Felix's bruise and sent him on his way. Lying in bed later, I got a message from him. Wifey, I love you. Finally, a confession. And who's your wifey? Felix, I'm tough to catch, so good luck chasing. The next day, as I was freshening up, I couldn't help but notice I'd been smiling in the mirror. I think I might like Felix too. Alright, let's spend today with him. But then I got a call from Gloria, asking to meet up. When we met, she burst into tears, clinging to me. Becky, you've got everything. Can't you just leave Jason to me? I'm begging you. I pushed her hands away. I don't want Jason. If you have the skills, then hold on to him. If not, it's none of my business. I walked past her. Behind me, I heard her crying again. Becky, you're just lucky. Don't think you're all that. I didn't respond, but she wasn't wrong. Luck's on my side. But so what? Doesn't mean anyone can mess with me. I drove straight to Felix's company. Felix, I need you to come with me for inspections. He smiled warmly and extended his hand. Of course, my queen. I nodded in approval. Her Majesty now officially allows Felix to court her. A year and a half later, my first project was completed. The industrial park's investment was also going great. I officially took over the family business. A reporter asked me, Becky, some say you've always relied on your family and men. What do you have to say about that? I slightly raised my chin at the camera. This queen never bows her head. I was born into this life, and that's part of my strength. Plus, I'd like to point out, when I worked with Felix, we had nothing between us. And even now, there's nothing between us. That night, at home, I was pinned by Felix on the bed. Chasing you for over a year and there's still nothing between us? Becky, isn't that a little heartless? I proudly raised an eyebrow. I told you long ago, I'm hard to get. Felix chuckled, leaning in for a kiss. No worries, I'm ready to chase forever. So, when are we getting that license? Tomorrow sounds good. Great, right after that, I'll keep chasing. So when should I tell Felix that I actually like him too? The end.